what is more important, an order block or imbalance? Well, after everything that I explained it, you can clearly see that the most important thing is literally this. Hey guys, it's Chachi Forex here, and today I'm bringing to you another amazing video where I will be answering to one of the highly requested questions, which is, should I trade from an order block or an imbalance? There has been a lot of debate among traders discussing whether one is more important than another one, and as always and as usual, I'll do my best to make sure that I provide you with some logic and some sense which one is most important and why for. Alright, so don't worry about it. But before we move to that, I want to say a big thank you to every single one of you, because we reached almost 50 subscribers. And I know it sounds silly, but for me it means the whole world, because I literally started a couple of weeks ago, and finding out all this support and love, it means literally the world to me. Hopefully we will build strong together, we'll build a huge community, and together we will succeed in this industry. So this being said, let's get started. One thing that you guys, I highly suggest you to use or understand is, whenever you have to use your own approach or your own strategy, you have to always ask yourself the right questions. And when it comes to right question, like for example, in my case, all I do is asking to myself always why, when, how, where. And by doing that, I'm capable of pulling out a lot of answers that helps me to understand how I should be prioritizing one concept above another one. And by doing that, it helps me to start building a narrative. And you guys know how much I talk about narrative and why narrative is so important on trading. And the same thing I did here with order block and imbalance. Now, when it came to the order block, I started asking myself, okay, what is the importance of order block and what exactly the order block is doing? And same thing of the imbalance as well. So one thing that you guys have to understand is that if you are trading SMC, and by now you probably know then what is an FVG and how to trade that, the same goes also for an order block. If not, no worry, I actually made a couple of videos where I showed how to trade from an imbalance and how to trade from an order block. So if you want to watch it, I'll leave the link here in the description above. And those are the two videos. Watch them out, because trust me, that will help you to understand each individually how to trade them and how to use them. But this being said, let's continue. So one thing that I've understood is that you will never ever be able to have an imbalance without having an order block. Now, this is so important, okay? You will never ever see an imbalance without having an order block. Why? Because an order block is a place, okay, I'm going to use some simple terms. I don't want to use any complicated or fancy words or fancy explanation. No, you guys have to understand that the order block, or if you trade supply and demand, so in this case, the base, is where the big boys take the decision of where the price should be going based on their needs and demand. Okay, so when price reach specific level, most of the time you're gonna see a lot of consolidation happening within this range. Now, why you don't see a consolidation here is because, as I always say, time frame plays a very important role within the trading for you to understand the narrative and what's actually going on within each individual candles, right? So in this case, if this is a 1 hour order block, right, inside you will see price consolidating, or you might gonna see a wyckoff or something happens, or even a base itself. And then when you have that, what happens is that the big boys, they're deciding whether they should be going up or they should be going down. And when the decisions comes into play is the time when you see them getting out in one direction, which is upwards, or another direction, which is downwards. And when that happens, you have what? This imbalance. Because most of the time, okay, you're gonna have a huge engulfing to the downside. And when you have a huge engulfing to the downside or to the upside based on the structure that you're using, you have this so-called an imbalance, okay? It's inefficiency that has to be filled, because market cannot leave any inefficiency behind. And eventually, that's why you use on your trading style for you to take a trade, because you know that price cannot leave this gap behind. So why I'm telling you this is because you're understanding that you cannot never ever have an imbalance without having an order block. So why this is important? It's important because if you say that, okay, I want to just trade an imbalance, which is okay, because I know a lot of traders, they do that. Actually, most of the trader and many of the traders that I came across, I've seen also them trading the 50%, because there is a theory behind that as well. But I'm not going into that now, because that's not what this video about. So if that trade like this is absolutely fine, I have nothing against that. But me personally, I always prefer to trade from an order block. Why? Because if this is my imbalance and this is my entry where I want to enter from an imbalance, and I see price coming all the way up here, right? It's just a matter of time that price fills the imbalance, okay, taps above, so taps on the order block, and then it drops. Okay, and then what you might have also, so this is like a simple version of any type of trend when approaching filling an imbalance. But if you are, for example, let's say Wyckoff trader, you might can have some sort of schematic happening over here. You have a spring that fills the imbalance, then it goes down, and then you have like the double spring, the EUTRD, I don't know what's it called because I'm not a Wyckoff expert. However, you have the second spring over here and then price goes away. Or for example, if you have like, let's say the rally, the base, okay, so the base fills the imbalance, and then sometimes the base can wick up to the order block and then it drop with another base. Or the most simplest one, if you are an SMC trader, right, what you might have is just price building the order flow, coming here, filling a little bit the imbalance, breaking the structure. You try to short from over here because you saw fill of imbalance, and therefore you're like, okay, the structure is aligning because we are bearish. And then what happens is that price does something like this and then it goes away. Okay, so this is something that I've seen happening so many times. Yeah, you might can argue saying that, okay, what if the times the price comes, fills, and goes away? Yeah, beautiful, that can happen as well. But based on my collecting data and backtesting, I did realize that, you know, price does this type of things and it will most of the time take you out before it goes to your directions. And also it makes sense that this happens because, as I said, you cannot have an imbalance without an order block, so therefore the priority goes to the order block, not to the imbalance. So even if sometimes price plays out from an imbalance, it doesn't mean that the order block doesn't work. All it means is that most likely the momentum of the price was so strong that the price failed to fill the imbalance. It came halfway to the imbalance and then it dropped. So that's why it's so important, you as a trader, to be able to distinguish the importance of the tools that you're using and giving priority to them. And for me, the priority is the order block. But why is the order block? Not just because the order block is from where the price dropped and gave the reaction from. The order block is also because me as a structure trader, right, most of the time, I will always have my last buy before the sell to the downside. So I know that if I focus my attention to the order block, right, which is the high of this structure. So you see this structure over here, this blue line. I know that if I'm entering over here, this is the last point of, let's say, I'm not saying the defense. Yeah, let's call it also as a last point of defense for price to hit and then go to the downside. Because if for any reason price breaks above it, right, like this, and then it drops, I'm not taking any more sell. Because for me now, price has shifted the momentum, it shifted the structure, therefore is useless looking for a sell. Now probably I should be looking for a buy somewhere around here and then going to the upside. So do you understand what I'm saying? So this zone here, which you can call it also the extreme or something like this, based on the order block or imbalance, you can take it because you know that this is the last point from where you want to see price going down, right? Whether if it comes to an imbalance, in that case it's difficult because if price comes here and fills your imbalance, you go with the trend, it's just a matter of time the price takes you out and then goes to your favor. So do you guys understand what I'm talking? Like, do you guys see how I'm putting everything together? Now, before we go to the chart, I want to address something else very important, which is many people probably after watching what I'm just saying, they might gonna be arguing and saying, oh no, I'm an ICT trader and ICT always says that you have to trade for an imbalance because imbalance is important, especially after the liquidity grab. When liquidity gets taken out, then you have to look for imbalance. Well, beautiful. And I absolutely agree with that. But what you guys also have to understand, and that's why I always keep saying the time frame is very important, is that first, you, as I said, you will never have an imbalance without another block. I'm sorry, I know I'm repeating that a lot, but that's very important. Secondly, if you do have an imbalance, it doesn't mean that the imbalance cannot be within an order block, okay? So it doesn't mean that you're not gonna have an imbalance. Sorry, my drawing skill is not the best over here, but it doesn't mean that you don't have this imbalance inside an order block. And that's what we're gonna be looking at now on the chart, because nowadays people are learning a lot about ICT and how he says that after a liquidity gets taken out, price shows intentions with the displacement, leaving imbalance behind, so you take from the imbalance. So now someone would be like, okay, there's no order block, I'm just taking the imbalance. However, what you are missing out here is that probably the whole zone itself is just an order block in another higher time frame. So you're literally trading within a smaller time frame where you see the small narrative, but you don't take in consideration the higher time frame, which is this. So which is basically an order block that is releasing order, right? So you might gonna have a higher time frame imbalance over here, and then price keeps going to the downside. Okay, so no worry, I'm gonna show it to you now in a bit on the chart. So let's jump to it. All right, guys. So let's go now over here. So here I got two boxes, right? What are these boxes? This is the daily high, daily low, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because I want to address this properly. So I want to show you guys, yes, you can use imbalance, whatever you want to use it, but what I said about the order block is also true, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. So look at this. So here, okay, let's go with this one. So let me remove over here. Okay, so here you have this previous day high that gets taken out, right? So when the previous day high gets taken out, obviously if you're trading M1, M5, according to what ICT says, you can clearly see that price start going higher, taps here, goes down, higher, takes out the liquidity, and then it ranges a little bit, and then boom, suddenly you have all this drop to the downside, the change of order flow, therefore change of character, whatever you want to call it, boss, breakout structure. And then what do you see? You see price leaving behind imbalances, right? So now if you're an ICT trader, you will be like, okay, I'm taking imbalance here. Maybe you want to clean and refine a little bit. So you probably see, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, let's see. The cleanest one is probably here was I guess it was a 2 minute. Yeah, all right. So in 2 minutes, you can see this beautiful, imbalance over here. So some people might be taking the trade like this, right? So you see an efficiency tap like this, or some other people might be taking it like this from the field of imbalance like this, all right? And some other might take the trade like this. I had this on my drawing. So you guys seen that I had 3 type of entries on my drawing. All right, so let me show you one more time so you guys can see what I'm talking about. All right, let's go back. All right, here you go. You see? So it's the same thing as before, right? You might have an entry on the imbalance, you might have an entry on order block, or you take both of them. But remember that based on the way you're taking it, you're also reducing or increasing your risk to reward. So this is something that you have to keep on the back of your mind as well, right? Now, look at this. So let's go back to us. So now you would be like, oh, okay, there's an imbalance. I'm taking from this, okay? So there's a field of imbalance because ICT says that after taking off liquidity, you have to take the imbalance. Yes, look at this. What happened here? If I play with the time frame, look what happens right now. What do you guys see? Isn't that an order block? Okay, so let me take it even further clean. Okay, so you have this one, right? It's the same thing anyway. Look at this. Isn't this an order block? You see what I'm talking about? Right? So yes, imbalance it is, but you cannot have an imbalance without an order block, right? Here we go. Look at this. So 5 minutes, you can see that, right? And on the top of that, what did I also say? If you guys have watched the video about ICT, SMC, and Wyckoff, I told you that they're the all same things. Isn't that a base drop? So you have a rally base drop. When exactly do you have that? After the previous day high and low gets taken out. So in one zone, right, you can literally use 3 to 4 concepts in literally aligned. So you can use your supply that's happening thanks to the base. How do you know this is a base? Because after the base, you have a huge drop to the downside. So this is a rally base drop. Then if you don't like the base and you want to use the order block, then you can use this one, right? You have the last buy before the sell to the downside, okay? And then what you can do, you can take the 50% of that. You see where I'm going with this? Oh, sorry, taking the wrong one. Oh, sorry, okay, yeah. Go, let me clean a little bit better. All right, look, so you can take the 50% of the range. So you can take the trade literally from here, right? And then drop it all the way down. Or you can take the imbalance, the inefficiency, the way ICT says, that price takes out the liquidity to the left and then it gets away. So as you can see, again, we're going back to the same concept and the same things. You need to have price ranging in these specific zones. In this case, the range was this, all right? So this is where the price was creating an order block or a base if you're a supply demand trader. And then later on, they release the orders all the way down here. And that's or leaving order behind, like dropping to the downside, is really the formation of an imbalance. So this being said, what is more important, an order block or imbalance? Well, after everything that I explained it, you can clearly see that the most important thing is literally this, they are order block. So once you know how to put the narrative within the time frame that helps you to see where is the order block, where is the imbalance, you will know what to look for and how to look for. So this being said, I hope guys this video helped you to understand why it is important one above another one and why you cannot have one without the other one. Okay, so whenever you're trading, okay, you can trade an imbalance. There's nothing wrong with it. However, you have to keep in mind that in order for you to increase your probability, your edge, your statistics, you have to go to the head, and the head is the order block from where everything is happening. And then of course you can decide how you can take the trade based on the confluences of the 50% of the order block, or maybe refining even the order block itself, going inside the way we did it, for example here, finding the imbalance within the order block, refining like this. Or if you're a supply demand trader, in this case, look at this, you have a beautiful base over here, so you have a rally base drop. You take that, and then in this way you can even reduce your stop loss and even having a higher risk to reward. So just this drop itself, it could have given you a nice 1 to 10 almost, right? And that's it, as simple as that. So I hope this answers all your concern or helps you to understand what you should be giving as a priority. And even after the video, if something is not clear to you, just write down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to get back to you, answer to your question, or even make further videos about it to help you to understand this topic. And yeah, that's it for today. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe, like, share the video, and let's get towards the 100 subscriber. I'll see you to the next one.